Okay, well, hello again. This is part 3. It's taken a while to do. I've kind of been busy, end of school and everything. But anyway, part 3, where did I get to? Wimbledon, I think it was, wasn't it? Well, Wimbledon's the big tennis championship that we hold in this country. I think it's the US Open that they have in the USA, but we have, it's basically the British version of the US Open, but we hold it on grass, unlike the other Opens, which is generally on clay. So it's like kind of not like a field, it's like a grass court. But the grass is cut quite short and the ball does bounce. It's not anything too weird. But yeah, apparently it's a different kind of playing surface. But yeah, it's quite big in this country. Everyone pays close attention. Even if like the British people don't do very well, people are quite interested in what happens. It generally rains at Wimbledon. It's a tradition to rain. This year it actually didn't. It was sunny almost all the time. Usually it rains at some point in Wimbledon. And there's always a lot of hype over the British number one, the best British tennis player in Wimbledon, to see whether they win, and they never do. They haven't won since like the 30s. So, yeah. Anyway, British schools, well, they're very different to American schools. British schools are like, instead of having grades like grade 3 or grade 8, we have years. So it goes from reception, which is like the very first year when you like start school for the first time, reception. And then it's year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's in like primary school, which is like the youngest school. So reception to year 6 are all in one like primary school. Then year 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13 are in the secondary school. But 12 and 13 aren't compulsory. You kind of like choose to go into those if you want, or you can leave and go to a college where you learn like vocational course. You can learn to be like a hairdresser or a builder or something. Or you can just go and work, you can just get a job straight away. But yeah, you can stay on until years 12 and 13 there. Then after years 12 and 13 you go to university, which is, I suppose, kind of like university in the States. You go there once you're 18 or above, and you learn, like, you get a degree in something, and then you go off to work after that, I suppose. But yeah, so schools are very different. There's quite a lot of different stuff, like, you don't have... It varies between schools, actually. There are some schools that are really quite similar to American schools, and some of them that are really different. Like, one difference we tend to have is, well, I'm just going from what I've seen of like TV programs for American schools, but quite a lot of schools you don't get allocated a locker. You don't automatically have one. You just get there are usually some, but you have to like get them yourself, if you know what I mean. Like, there's never enough one for everyone, so some people don't, some people do. Let me think, other things. I don't know, actually. We tend to have big school fields. Like, usually with the school, there's like a big field beside it, which you can go on at lunchtime and play football or whatever on the big field. I don't know how many American schools have that. But yeah, we have sports day, which apparently American people don't have. Where you can when you're in primary school, it's kind of like a bit of fun, like you do egg and spoon races and sack races and like obstacle courses and stuff. Once you get to secondary school, year 7 to 12, 7 to 13 even, it's really serious. It's kind of like a mini version of the Olympics, but you don't have like all the Olympics. You just have the track and field events, like a small version of that. Where you compete in houses, kind of like the Harry Potter houses, but they're obviously called different things. But yeah, so I can't really think of much else. We have a school uniform, of course. You have to wear, most schools have a school uniform in this country, practically all of them. I'm wearing mine on the picture on the video, actually. It's a green blazer. I don't know whether I'm wearing that, but yeah, it's a green blazer with a white shirt and a green and silver striped tie. Or in the summer, it's just like a t-shirt, a white t-shirt, with no tie, and black trousers and black shoes, of course. But yeah, kind of I've talked for ages on this. What's next? The milkman. Well, the milkman delivers milk to the door in bottles. I mean, it's kind of died out quite a lot. Lots of people don't have the milkman anymore. They just go to the supermarket and buy like big bottles of milk. But yeah, they're not like glass bottles, like big plastic bottles of milk. Yeah, I still get milk in glass bottles. They come in pint glass bottles. They put them next to the door, like outside the door, and you collect them and such and such. But yeah, it's like having your milk delivered. Doctor Who. Doctor Who's a BBC television program. You've probably seen it or heard of it. About a time travelling man and his Journeys to Other Worlds and such. Yeah, it's kind of aimed at children, but it's like quite well known for adults watching it and stuff. But yeah, it has quite a big following. It's been going for like 40 odd years or something. Double decker buses. They actually got rid of all the London buses, which are the ones you probably know of, the big red double deckers. They got rid of all of them from London, which I think is sad, but because they're like too much to run stuff. But they still have double decker buses around other places. They just double like normal buses, but with 2 decks. I can't believe you don't have any. Yeah, it's just like a bus, but you have a floor above which has more seats on. I sometimes get one home from school. Anyway, they got rid of all the red ones from London. They replaced them with these bendy ones that have like a bendy bit in the middle, so they can go around corners and be longer and such. But people don't like them, and they're going to get rid of them. But anyway, James Bond. He's a film character, like a British spy, 007. He's appeared in lots of British films. Well, not well. In the James Bond films, there's been about 20-something of them. They've been going since like the 70s. There's been lots of different people play James Bond. Whenever one James Bond kind of like retires, there's always a big kind of like hoo-ha about who will be the next Bond. Quite a lot of people say it's like rubbish and all the films bad and everything, but it's quite a big like British thing to have like watch a James Bond film. Yeah, and the films still do quite well in the cinemas. Yeah, there's always a big thing about the next James Bond. Some like famous actors have been James Bond. What's next? Can't find it. The post office. Well, the post office is not the mail office, but I imagine it's probably very similar. It's post office. You can go there and you can do things like post parcels. You tend to post letters in the red post boxes that you might kind of think of when you think of Britain. Red post boxes. You post letters in those, but for parcel stuff, you go to the post office and put in. And there are post offices around like everywhere, because quite a lot of, like back in like the 60s and 70s, quite a lot of like corner shops, small shops, in like villages, used to become a post office, so that you didn't have to go very far to a post office. There used to be one in walking distance, but because of like all the reforms and stuff recently, quite a lot of them have shut. So now you don't have to go into like your nearest town or city and go to the big post office there, which means there's massive queues. But we still have one at the end of our road. But yeah, you go to the post office, you can buy stamps, post letters and parcels, and like you can get your currency exchanged and stuff like that. Squirrel crisps. I still have a packet. Well, I've eaten them obviously, but basically the Walker's Crisps, who are like pretty much the biggest crisp company in this country, made they did this competition to find a new flavour, and anyway they kind of sent out, so people send us your flavours, and so people had to send in the flavours that they liked, and so there were ones like fish and chips, Builder's Breakfast. Builder's Breakfast is like tomato, eggs, sausages, bacon, and baked beans, and other stuff like onion bhaji. But somebody sent in, what was it? Squirrel. It's like an Indian squirrel food, like squirrel curry. I can't remember the name of it now. I've got a packet in my room somewhere, an empty packet. But yeah, they call them like they're like squirrel crisps. But yeah, they're crisps flavoured with squirrel. But it's obviously not real squirrel. It's like a pretend squirrel flavouring, so no squirrels are actually harmed in making the crisp. But I love them. They were really nice. I mean, I know there's the whole like squirrel crisps and stuff, but they were actually really nice. Sadly, however, they didn't win the competition, so they stopped making them, which I think is sad. But they Builder's Breakfast one instead. I think it's really stupid because those ones are horrible. What's next? Pounds and pence. Well, it's kind of like American cents and dollars. It's just cents. There's 100 pennies in a pound, 100 cents in a dollar, and then infinite number of pounds, I suppose. But yeah, we just call them pounds and pence. So you have like 3p as opposed to 3 cents. We call it 3p or 3 pence. Like £5, $5. It's kind of like all the same. It's very similar. But yeah, we have different names for pounds. Called like quid or 15 quid. Yeah. There are several different names for having a pound. Let's go on there quickly. Fish and chips is a big British dish to have fish and chips. It's a good old British type thing. It's basically just fish, but with it's kind of like French fries, but they're thicker than French fries. And there are fish and chip shops, shops that pretty much just sell fish and chips. on streets and stuff, because it's like a really big British thing to have fish and chips, and you wrap it in newspaper. It's not newspaper anymore because that wouldn't be healthy, but it's just paper now. But yeah, we have this fish and chips. So anyway, that's pretty much all I've got time for. So it's gonna have to be a part 4.